Time for your favorite facts show. Ooh-wee! Here are 50 amazing facts to blow your mind. Dolphins and some birds can sleep with only half their brain, while the other half stays awake. They may actually shut just one eye while doing this. The Schipperke is a special dog bred to live on barges, and it means little boatman or little captain in the Flemish language. A German court ruled in 2008 that the guitar solo in Gary Moore's 1990 hit Still Got the Blues plagiarized a 1974 instrumental called Nordrock by the little-known German band Judd's Gallery. A brainless slime mold called Physarum polycephalum can solve mazes, optimize transport routes, and even remember solutions, despite being just a single cell. Draupadi Pratha is a rare tradition practiced in the Indian Himalayan states. It's where a woman marries multiple brothers in the same family. It was inspired by Mahabharata Draupadi and followed historically to preserve family land. Sweden is capable of domestically building submarines, jet fighters, and satellites, despite having a population of just over 10 million people. Per capita, it's one of the largest arms exporters on the planet. Nils Gustav Håkansson, at the age of 66, won the 1951 Sverige Loppet, a 1,096-mile stage bicycle race across Sweden. He completed the race in just over 6 days and 14 hours, finishing more than 24 hours ahead of his nearest competitor. A 2017 woman received new hands from a male donor after she underwent Asia's first upper arm double hand transplant. To the surprise of the doctors, the limbs, which were hairier and darker, became more feminine and lighter over time, resulting in their color being closer to her own skin tone. When Marquis de Sade died in 1814, his son burned all of his unpublished manuscripts, and his descendants tried to suppress his work for over a century. The three hairs is a circular motif appearing in sacred sites from China, the Middle East, and churches and synagogues in Europe. Its origins and original significance are uncertain, as are the reasons why it appears in such diverse locations. The Level 42 song Lessons in Love has 7 different bass sounds, 3 analog synths, 2 FM synths, and 2 electric basses, 1 thumb line, and 1 fingerstyle line. The Quality Housing and Work Responsibility Act passed in 1998, which contained the Fair Cloth Amendment that capped the construction of new public housing units in the United States. The act created the Section 8 voucher program that's still used today. Kobe Bryant scored 60 points against the Utah Jazz in his very last NBA game, outscoring the entire Jazz team 23-21 in the fourth quarter. Bryant became the oldest player to score 60 or more points in a game at 37 and 234 days old. Unlike the standard 3-movement concerto form of the Baroque era, Brandenburg No. 1 contains 4 separate movements. It's the sole example in Bach's output of a 4-movement concerto, and its odd inner minuet features a brief passage where only oboes and bassoon play. Some believe that after the European arrival in the Americas, the mass dying of the native population may have contributed to the global temperature drop from the 16th to 18th century. There's an exclusion zone that roughly cuts Montserrat in half due to volcanic activity. Actor Kent Rogers was only 17 when he did significant voice work for Warner Brothers and Universal, not only being the original voice of Beaky Buzzard, but also voicing Woody Woodpecker for a period of time. Hypergraphia is the intense desire to write or draw. While associated with temporal lobe changes and epilepsy, some prolific artist figures are associated with the condition. This includes Isaac Asimov, Vincent van Gogh, and Lewis Carroll. The governor of Indiana officially named the city of LaPorte, a town of barely 20,000 people, the capital of Indiana for July 4th, which has been a tradition dating back to World War II due to its patriotism and parade of over 60,000 people in attendance. King James I, who commissioned the King James Bible, also personally wrote a book about demonology and necromancy. Crispin Glover did not reprise his role as George McFly in Back to the Future 2 and filed a lawsuit that created new rules for use of likeness within the SAG. A local guide in Odessa, Ukraine has started breeding fish in the compact underground pool of the city's catacombs. James H. Salisbury, the inventor of Salisbury steak, was an early proponent of germ theory and invented a steak to prevent diarrhea. In the 1900 Summer Olympics, the Dutch team recruited a young boy from the crowd to be their coxswain. He ran off after the team won, and his identity remains unknown to this day. Investigation on the Bangla 211 plane crash revealed that the pilot had been severely distressed and hadn't slept the night before the flight. He was crying in the cockpit while telling the story of an alleged affair with one of his trainees and was too anxious to pay attention to the job. The Calibri font caused the Pakistani Prime Minister to be disqualified from office in 2017. Forged documents about the PM's income that claimed to be from 2006 used the font, but the font was not publicly released until 2007. The very first Alabama Cavalry Regiment was made up of Alabamans who had remained loyal to the Union during the Civil War. They served as General Sherman's close escort during his march to the sea, where his army destroyed Southern industry, property, and infrastructure. Shanghaiing was the practice in the 18th and 19th centuries of kidnapping men to become sailors on board ships due to laws that imprisoned people for leaving a ship before the voyage was done. 11th President James K. Polk vetoed the bill that would provide $500,000 to improve ports. He feared that the bill would encourage legislators to compete for favors for their home district and doom the virtue of the republic. During the famine of 1328 to 1330, many cities in Italy expelled people to preserve supplies. Florence took them in and provided aid for them along with their own citizens. They established government task forces that implemented relief measures and spent about 60,000 gold florins in aid programs. The world's first known medical bachelor's degree issued by Al-Khawarian University in Fez was in 1207 AD. It was to a Moroccan doctor who practiced medicine, pharmacy, and veterinarian science. Marcus Ignatius Rufus, who funded the First Republic free of charge firefighting force in ancient Rome and was executed for conspiracy, likely because his popularity threatened the Emperor Augustus. Madrid nearly tripled its metro network in 12 years from 71 miles or 114 kilometers to 197 miles or 317 kilometers. One 35-mile expansion program cost as much as 1.5-mile extension in New York City adjusted for inflation. The Sebastopol bell in Windsor was looted from a Russian church during the Siege of Sebastopol in 1855 at the end of the Crimean War. It was only rung when the most senior members of the British royal family pass away. Long Island is not legally recognized as an island, but actually as a peninsula instead. Men stopped buying underwear during tough economic times, making it a nifty leading indicator for recession. The Port of Duluth is the world's farthest inland port accessible to ocean-going ships and is the largest and busiest port of the Great Lakes. When football player Chase Winovich was traded to the Cleveland Browns in 2022, he held an online poll for fans to pick a new jersey number. Out of the 50,000 total votes, 35,000 votes were for the number 69. Winovich subsequently adopted the number. The Galapagos tortoise, believed extinct since 1906, was rediscovered in 2022 on a remote island. Sarah Childress Polk got married at 21, became First Lady at 41, and after James K. Polk died in 103 days after leaving office, lived another 42 years, the longest widowhood of any First Lady. Fourth graders and their families in the US can visit national parks for free. Secondhand and third-hand smoke from cigarettes contributes to 40,000 deaths annually in the United States. Third-hand smoke can linger on household surfaces for years if not properly cleaned. As of July 2024, only 4 states, New York, Massachusetts, Maryland, and New Jersey, have more landline phone users than without landline phones. Morris Abraham Cohen, who is better known as Two Gun Cohen, was a Polish-born British and Canadian adventurer of Jewish origin. He became aide-de-camp to Sun Yat-sen, a major general in the Chinese National Revolutionary Army. Starting in the 60s, scientists began introducing beetle species from Africa to Australia to help decompose cattle manure. Before then, manure would linger for years. The longest-serving Prime Minister of Canada claimed to have communicated with Leonardo da Vinci, Wilfrid Laurier, his dead mother, his grandfather, and several of his dead dogs. This, as well as the spirit of late President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The brazen head, a construct in medieval folklore, could supposedly answer any question. Also, a common theme is them breaking them or exploding them after their maker misses the chance to ask them a question. The Inca civilization used quipu knotted cords as a system to record numerical data such as census and accounting information. Most living areas in ancient Rome cities lacked any kitchen area, with most citizens either getting food from a communal kitchen or buying prepared foods from street vendors. Pearl Curran, an early 20th century American novelist and poet, claimed all her work was channeled through the spirit of a long-deceased Englishwoman named Patience Worth. And that's it. If you guys enjoyed this, please give a like and a comment. Let me know which one of these facts you found most interesting, and be sure to subscribe because you won't want to miss the next video. Thanks for watching.